Imagine a worker earning $300 per year in 1850 and purchasing property in Manhattan. Now ask yourself, what would that investment be worth if the family kept the ownership for nearly 170 years? That financial question is what I want to explore today. Not as a history lesson, not as politics, as a long-term real estate thought experiment. Many of the residents in Seneca Village were working class people earning around $200 to $350 a year. Some purchased land worth approximately $100 to $500. At a glance, those numbers don't sound impressive. But think about what it represented. A worker earning $300 a year and purchasing $250 in property was making a serious ownership decision. That's not very different from a modern worker earning $60,000 to $80,000 per year, making a meaningful real estate investment. The important part is that the story isn't the original purchase price. It's the ownership. And that's where most people make the mistake. They immediately start thinking about inflation. What would $250 be worth today? But inflation is the wrong way to evaluate this investment, because Manhattan real estate didn't grow at the pace of inflation. It grew at the pace of Manhattan. Seneca Village existed before Central Park, before luxury towers, before Billionaires Row, before Manhattan became one of the most valuable real estate markets on earth. Today, apartments near Central Park regularly sell for millions of dollars. Luxury residences can also sell for tens of millions. Commercial properties generate substantial rental income year after year. So instead of asking what the land was worth in 1850, let's ask a different question. What is 170 years of uninterrupted ownership in Manhattan worth? Let's look at a few possibilities. Scenario 1. A family keeps ownership of a few lots and simply passes them down. No major development, no real estate empire, just the ownership. As Manhattan grows, the land appreciates. The family builds equity generation after generation. In that scenario, multi-million-dollar family's wealth is entirely realistic. Now, move to scenario 2. A family develops a property. Small homes become larger buildings. The buildings become rental properties. The rental income is reinvested. The next generation expands, and the next generation improves. The next generation acquires additional assets. Now we're talking about cash flow, appreciation, and equity working together. That's tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of dollars of family assets that become possible. Then there's scenario 3. A family uses property income to acquire more property. The same way many successful real estate families build wealth. One property becomes several. Several become a portfolio. But this is the way the math starts to change. Most people think wealth comes from the value of property. Many real estate fortunes were built from what the property produces. The building generates rent. The rent creates cash flow. Cash flow helps purchase another building. That building generates additional rent. Then the process repeats. Over the time, the family isn't relying on wages anymore. The asset begins funding the next acquisition. That's when ownership starts compounding. Not just the property value, income, equity, and purchasing power. A single property becomes multiple properties. Multiple properties become a portfolio. And portfolios often grow faster than individual assets because every new acquisition creates another source of income. Think about it in this way. A worker earning $300 per year in 1850 might spend years saving enough money to buy a piece of property. But if that property stays in the family, future generations aren't starting from zero. They are starting with an asset. An asset can generate income. An asset can be inherited. An asset can be used to acquire additional assets. The wealth doesn't happen all at once. One generation inherits property, another expands it, another develops it. The original owner may have seen a small house and a few lots. The great-grandchildren might see apartment buildings, and the great-great-grandchildren might see a real estate portfolio. Same land, different century. Now we're no longer talking about a single piece of property. We're talking about compounding real estate portfolio in Manhattan, one of the most valuable real estate markets on earth.